first heard about this from your wife and why you said yes.
Okay. Well, my wife came to me, and we were talking about our son, and she wanted to talk to me about this program. Um, when I listened to her talk about it, the first thing that I thought is, okay, we're going to go through another program because we had been through so many things with him. Um, and nothing has really worked with him. Um, I mean, it has a little here, a little there. You see improvements, but it always would revert back to his behavior, um, just, getting in trouble all the time. Uh, and when she was telling me about it, you know, I was taking it like with a grain of salt. I wasn't really that enthused about it uh, because I thought it was just going to be another thing to go through. Uh, and when she was talking to me about it, she said that the whole family was going to be involved in it, and I wasn't really looking forward to that too because it was just taking more time away from whatever it is that I'm doing, and but I wanted to be supportive to her. And I wanted it, if it worked, great, it would be worth it. So I said I would come and listen. I would go to the first session and I would listen to it and see how it goes, and and kind of go from there. So I really wasn't into it like the whole family's going to actually do anything. It was going to be for Julian, and it was just more so we're going to be supportive to him, and it's not going to feel like he's doing this by himself, that he thinks that he's being taken out and he's the problem and things are happening with him and we're going to try something else. One of the things that my wife and I were really big on was not feeding him medication. When we would go to the doctors, they would always want to give him a pill. We didn't want our son drugged up. That wasn't something that we wanted to do. We didn't want to keep changing pills and doing this and doing that. So my wife was giving him a lot of supplements that weren't really working. I didn't really see a whole lot of benefits to it. So we came and we went through the first session. And to be honest, I would probably say I was still more of an observer for probably the first 4 or 5 sessions, where I wasn't really taking heart into it. But I was starting to see a change in my son. And when I started to see the change, the first thought I would think is, well, he just had a good day. It really wasn't, there's really a change going on with him. But it continued. And then it surprised me because he wasn't taking a pill, because conventional medicine says you have to have a pill, you have to take this, you have to do this. So I'm wired that way. So it was really crazy for me to see a change in my son, and he's doing it in a natural way as far as like from what I saw. We're just doing these movements, which I really didn't understand them. I was going through them and I was doing it, but I didn't know the background on them. And I was just doing it because we were supposed to do it. But I was actually seeing a change in him. And that blew my mind. And right there is kind of when I started picking up, and I had talked to Alma and I said, what is this? Like, really, now I'm getting interested in it. And I want to know more about it. Now my interest is piqued. So she actually let me come in and sit in on one of the seminars that you guys have at Sharp. And I was able to find out the background on Brain Gym and what it's about and what it's going through. Because when my wife talked to me about it, she told me about it, but she really didn't go into detail about what it is, how it works, and why we're doing the things we're doing. So at that point, once I listened to it, is when I really started to understand and more or less become involved in it. So that's where that stands.
Okay,
So,
awesome. That was really good.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, come on.
I'm gonna try to find that.
Yes, if you can find it. All right, so so let's talk about your experience, right? Did you have a heart attack or something, or what did you?
Well, I had in 2003, I had an aortic aneurysm. It was an emergency surgery, and luckily I lived through it. They had to repair my aorta. It tore. From what the doctor told me, it's like taking a piece of plywood and splitting it, and you know how it splinters. That's what happened to my aorta. And they fixed it, and I made it through. And they told me eventually that I was probably going to have a heart transplant or something eventually in time. And like I said, I was pretty young. I was only 33 at the time when it happened. So years later, it's been 14 years, and my condition has gradually gotten worse and worse. My heart, and my cardiologist sent me to the cardiac center, and they basically told me that my heart, it was pumping really weak, and they were saying that I'm going to have a heart transplant. So that's a really hard pill to swallow. I have a daughter that's 5, a son that's 11, a family, you're trying to generate income for them, and you're thinking about all of these things. So I have all of this stuff on my shoulders, besides just normal life. And then I have this. And when we went and talked to him the first time, we put off the operation, and it was about a year later that I ended up having to have an operation. And what they did was they put in what they call an LVAD machine. It's a heart pump. It's not a heart transplant. I didn't qualify for it because what I found out for those 14 years is that the aorta split farther down, and nobody knew about it. And when they went through the checkups, they found the split, and it disqualified me from being able to get a heart. So just recently, I had that surgery done, and to be truthful with you, that's when Alma came to see me before my operation. She wanted to do a rewire with me, and we sat down, and I sat down with her probably for about 2 hours, and we went through and we talked about a lot of things, and we did the rewire, and it was like I said, I believed in what was happening, but there's a part of you that, at least with me at the time, where I was seeing the change in my son, and I could see the benefits of it. But as for me personally, I still wasn't taking it in as a personal growth. It was trying to help my son. Well, now the focus is on me. And I really took what she was saying to heart. And I started believing, well, I shouldn't say I started believing because I believed in it, but I started internalizing it as far as this is what I need for me to prepare myself for this surgery that I'm going to go through, because the chances of me having a stroke, the chances of me passing away on the table were very, very high. And I was really scared because I didn't want to leave my family, especially they're so young, that I wanted them to remember me. And I was just, I needed to do everything I could in my power to get through the surgery and be able to succeed and succeed after that. So, and that's what I'm doing now. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
So you just found out it's 3%. You didn't realize how high it was.
No, not until my wife just told me. I didn't realize that it was only a 3% chance of making it.
So why don't you start the sentence with, I didn't realize it, but until recently, but I only had a 3% chance of survival, and then continue that discussion from there.
As far as
Yeah, as far as the testimonial goes.
Okay.
I didn't realize it at the time, but I only had a 3%
Okay,
chance
okay,
of survival.
okay.
And talk a little bit about what was going on, and then.
Okay. I didn't realize it, but I only had a 3% chance of making it through the surgery. I just found that out after the surgery, which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe they decided not to tell me personally that because it was so slim. But I think going through, I was in the hospital for about a week, for maybe 3 or 4 days prior to having the surgery. So in those 4 days, I was doing rewires the whole time. I was meditating, I was doing pace, I was doing everything that I believed was going to help me. And I believed it in my heart that this was going to help me and it was going to work. And it was, when you really believe in something, it's really beneficial to you because, there was just, I don't know, my soul just felt like I'm going to make it through this, I'm going to get through it, and everything's going to be okay. But like I said, this was 3 or 4 days of laying in the bed, going through testing, and while I'm going through all of the tests prior to the surgery, I was doing my rewires, and it was it definitely helped. It definitely was one of the key things that got me through this surgery because I felt confident in it. So.
What were the rewires like? What were you trying to do with the rewires, and what were they specifically?
Well, I would do pace a lot.
I mean, I don't mean like the movements. I mean like when you're rewiring, it's like I am strong. Or
Yes.
So what were the specific ones, and how did they prepare your mind to get you through this?
Well, I had a lot of anxiety, obviously. So there was a lot of meditation. And what I would do is I would put earphones on, and when I slept at night, so my subconscious was open to it, I would listen to different meditations, whether it be music like the, 5.28, the harmonizing where it centers your body. I would internalize just what I was going to go through and how I'm strong enough to be able to get through this surgery, that the doctors were going, that their hands were sure, and that, that everything's going to go as planned. It's just a lot of self-meditating. I can't really say specifically some of the things I don't want to say because it's personal to me. But it went from the surgery, how I was living my life previously, how I want my life to go after the surgery. So there was just a lot of meditation that I did. But most of it was more trying to calm myself down and take the anxiety away. And when you're in the hospital, they're giving you different pills and they're giving you different things, and they want to feed you a lot of things. They want to give you Xanax. They want to give you all of these things that are going to help you. A lot of the times I would just say, no, I don't want it, because I didn't want to fill my body with it until it was the time for surgery or whatever, because I wanted to have a clear mind and be able to really focus on what it was that I needed soulfully. I didn't want to be in a place where a medication is taking over and I'm not able to internalize something. So that's kind of where I was.
Good, good.
So
Okay. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Let's talk about what it's meant. Um, come on in. Let's talk about what has this meant for your family. You can leave it open. What is,
Right, sorry you guys.
Oh, it's okay.
the question will be, what has this meant for your family? Like, and draw the contrast. So without this, this is what life could look like, right?
Yeah.
And with this, this is what it does look like.
Yeah.
And what that means to you and your wife and your kids.
Okay. Life without Brain Gym or without
Without Alma and Danny.
okay, without Alma and Danny's program, I think life would have been a lot more chaotic. It was. We were having trouble with our son, and that was causing a lot of friction between my wife and I. We were arguing. We weren't seeing eye to eye on things, and it was causing a big rift in our relationship. And it got pretty bad. And if we hadn't done this program, I believe we would still, if we hadn't broken up, because it was getting to that point where it was just all consuming. My wife was consumed with handling our son and taking care of it, but she was neglecting me, she was neglecting our daughter, she was neglecting everything to deal with that, which I understand. But at the same time, you understand it, you see it, but you still, as an individual, need things. You need the love, you need the caring, you need time together, you need all that, and that was gone. And it was causing a big rift with us. Since this program, things have changed tremendously. We spend a lot more time together. Our daughter, the connection between my daughter and wife are great. She's not spending 100% of her time looking for something to deal with our son to help him. My relationship with my son has evolved greatly. I want to spend time with him. I just felt like I was always disciplining him all of the time. That whenever I was talking to him, it was about what he was doing and why he needed to stop. And that was tiresome. I didn't want to be that person. It was frustrating. And now, it's how was your day, buddy? And he's had a good day and everything goes well. He comes home. He's just a normal kid, which if you would have seen what it was compared to what it is now, you would be wowed by it. You would be in awe because he has changed so much. But I think it's changed our whole family because, like I said, once I bought into the program, and my wife definitely had, and my daughter, she likes it just because it's fun. She loves doing everything that they have them do, for the rewires to all of the motion, everything that they do, she loves. So it's no problem for her. But once the whole family bought into it and started going through, it was a great thing. I think the whole family has to do it. I don't think that you can just kind of separate one individual from it. I think that everyone has to be on board 100%. And if you believe in it, it's really going to work for you. But things are great. Things are really good now. And like I said, I mean, there's things besides. I mean, I know I'm focusing on my son because that's where it went to. But, he does things normal kids do or whatever. I mean, he's a kid. But there's not the constant trouble. He has changed. He's a different person now. He's a different person, and it's great. And I think that in turn has changed us, and we've all changed, and it's benefited us all. So.
And you're alive.
and I'm alive. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. That's the best thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So, okay, I think that's good. I think that's good.
So it's the dishwasher,
All right.
It
but
was,
I can't shut off the dishwasher.
oh,
When I
'cause it's
push
running?
it to close
Yeah,
it,
it
then
starts.
the
I know.
dishwasher starts.
That's all right. All right. One last thing. Let's talk about your favorite part. What's your favorite part of the program?
my favorite part of the program is really my favorite part of the program would have to be seeing the change in my son, because it's amazing what's happened.
Well, that's your favorite result.
Well,
We
yeah,
got
yeah.
We got lots of that on there. But
Okay.
let's talk about you personally. Like for you personally, you've got the different brain
Yeah, yeah,
development exercises and the rewires
yeah.
and you can just say brain development or rewire. But what specifically? Like, was there one specifically like what knocked your socks off that you did?
No, there's not one specific thing
Okay.
that did it. I mean, yeah, I think it's a combination of everything. Yeah, I can't pinpoint one thing that specifically stands out to me. So
Fair enough.
sorry.
That's fine. No, that's
Sorry.
right.